People probably say the Chicago suburbs are too expensive and not worth the investment. But while home prices have definitely increased, what most people don't realize is that there are still hidden gems out here in 2025 where you can get incredible value. And the real estate market everyone's warning you about though, it's actually creating some of the best opportunities I've seen in years. And today I'm going to share with you 10 realities about living here in the Chicago suburbs in 2025 that no one else is talking about. But before I tell you which suburbs you should pay attention to, let's talk about how we're seeing tons of new developments popping up in the suburbs. When most people think of construction and development, they picture downtown Chicago with cranes everywhere, but truthfully, the suburbs are experiencing an absolute boom right now that's changing everything. We're seeing incredible investments throughout the Chicago suburbs in 2025, and I'm not just talking about cookie cutter subdivisions. I'm talking about complete community transformations that are creating these amazing lifestyle destinations. Neighborhoods Riverwalk is getting these major enhancements that will make it even more beautiful than it already is. Suburban Downtowns are being completely revitalized, and mixed-use developments are popping up that give you that urban feel without actually being in the city. Just last week, I was showing a property in Wheaton to clients relocating back home, and they were extremely surprised from the transformation since they were home 6 years ago. The downtown area has been transformed with new restaurants, shops, and residential spaces that have created this incredible community vibe. And wait until you hear about what's happening in Schaumburg and the Old Orchard Mall in Skokie, which I'll get to later. But first, let me be honest about the housing market here. After all, that's what I do, right? And I know a lot of you guys are wondering about home prices in the Chicago suburbs, and here's the reality. Yes, home values are continuing to rise in 2025, but not at the breakneck pace we saw a few years ago. Interest rates have stabilized somewhat, which has brought a bit more balance to the market. Places like Naperville, Hinsdale, and Evanston are still seeing strong appreciation, while other suburbs offer more affordable options with great value. The median home price across the Chicago suburbs is hovering right around $425,000 in 2025, but that varies dramatically depending on which suburb you're looking at. What's interesting is how quickly homes are still selling in the most desirable areas. I listed a home in Wheaton the other month that had 8 offers within the first 48 hours, and that's not uncommon for the right property in the right location. And compared to some of the hidden gem suburbs I'll tell you about in a bit, you're looking at a 20 to 30% premium for these top tier locations, but many buyers tell me the amenities and lifestyles are worth it. So let's talk about the best places to live. But before we jump into that, if you don't know who I am, I'm Brandon Blankenship, a Chicagoland realtor helping people just like you move to and around the Chicago suburbs. So if you like these videos, hit the subscribe, and if I can help you with that move, shoot me an email. Now, you might have seen those best places to live rankings where Chicago suburbs always seems to make the list. And are they legit? Well, absolutely. Naperville has consistently ranked as one of the best places to live in the entire country. Clarendon Hills, Hinsdale, Western Springs, these aren't just getting high rankings by accident as well. The schools in these areas are exceptional. Look at places like New Trier High School, Stevenson, or Naperville Central. These are consistently ranked among the top high schools, not just in Illinois, but nationally as well. Besides, the community amenities are off the charts. The only downside, everyone knows how great these places are, which is reflected in the home prices. But there are plenty of hidden gems suburbs that offer many of the same benefits without the premium price tag. Places like Buffalo Grove and Vernon Hills, as well as Downers Grove, give you great schools and wonderful communities at a much more accessible price point. And speaking of accessibility, wait until you hear about the suburban transportation improvements I'll cover later in this video. But first, let's talk about something that most people think about when they hear living in the suburbs. Forget that old stereotype of sleepy, boring suburbs where nothing happens. Today's Chicago suburbs have vibrant downtown areas that truthfully rival some of Chicago's coolest neighborhoods. Elmhurst, Oak Park, Evanston, and Naperville all have downtown areas packed with restaurants, breweries, boutique shops, and entertainment options. On a Friday or Saturday night, these downtown areas are buzzing with energy. It's incredible. Take LaGrange, for example. Every summer they have outdoor concerts, movies in the park, and food festivals that bring the whole community together. And these aren't small events. They're drawing people from across the suburbs, and I was in downtown Naperville just last weekend, and you guys, it was packed with people enjoying the outdoor dining, live music, and the Riverwalk paths, and it felt more like Chicago than most what people picture when they think of the suburbs. And one of the things I love about the suburban downtowns compared to the more rural areas is how they give you that perfect balance of urban amenities with suburban space and proximity to everything you need. And if you're moving to the suburbs with a family or planning to start one, you're in for a treat. Family friendly doesn't even begin to describe what these communities offer. Beyond the top rated schools I mentioned earlier, the park districts in the Chicago suburbs are incredible. Places like Buffalo Grove, Naperville, and Arlington Heights have these amazing community centers with pools, sports facilities, and year-round programming for kids of all ages. The forest preserves and trail systems connect communities throughout the suburbs. You can literally bike for miles without ever having to ride on the street. And unlike in the city, most suburban homes have actual yards where kids can play. I know that sounds basic, but after working with so many families moving from the city of Chicago, I know that having that private outdoor space is often a game changer for those families that I work with. And when we talk about the job market later, you'll see how these family-friendly communities are strategically located near major employment centers, making them perfect for working parents as well. First, let's talk about the commute, because for many of you guys, that's still a factor even in 2025 with remote work being so common. And the reality is, yes, you'll be further from downtown Chicago, but many suburbs have metro stations that make downtown relatively painless. From towns like Arlington Heights, Downers Grove, or Highland Park, you can be in downtown in about 25 to 35 minutes on an express train here. And here's what's super cool is that the trains in 2025 are more tech friendly than ever. Every train has reliable Wi-Fi and charging stations, so you can actually be productive during your commute as well. And for those of you who drive, the suburbs have seen significant infrastructure improvements over the past few years. The $45 billion Rebuild Illinois program has put billions into road improvements, which has helped ease some of the notorious Chicago area traffic. But I'm not going to sugarcoat for you guys. If you're commuting to downtown Chicago by car every day from the far out suburbs, you're still looking at a significant time investment in your car. And one thing that surprises a lot of city dwellers is when they move to the suburbs is just how strong the sense of community is. In places like Glen Ellen, Western Springs, and LaGrange, neighbors know each other well. And block parties are a real thing, you guys. Community events bring everyone together regularly, and I have clients who moved from Chicago to Naperville just last year, and they've told me how they know more of their neighbors after the first 6 months of living here in the suburbs than they did after 5 years in their city condo building. And the schools are a big part of this. When your kids are in the local schools, you naturally become connected to other families. Sports leagues, park district programs, and community events all create opportunities to build real connections. And it's not that these connections can't happen in the city, they absolutely can. But truthfully, there's something about suburban life that seems to facilitate community building in a really organic way. And when we discuss the diversity of housing options in a bit, you'll see how different communities foster different types of social connections based on their layouts and amenities. But there's another topic we need to talk about first. I know infrastructure might not be the sexiest topic, but it matters a lot for your day-to-day quality of life. The Rebuild Illinois program has pumped billions into infrastructure improvements across the state, with significant work happening right here in our suburbs. Roads are being repaired and expanded, public transportation is getting upgrades, and utilities are being modernized. But what does that mean for you as a suburban resident? Better roads, improved public safety, and more reliable services. It also means that these communities are investing in their future, which tends to correlate with property value stability. Water quality in the Chicago suburbs tends to be, higher than other areas compared to where clients relocate from, and internet connectivity is strong across most suburbs in 2025 with high-speed fiber available in many communities. Crucial for those of you working from home, and unlike some of the Chicago's aging infrastructure, many suburbs have newer systems that require less emergency maintenance, meaning fewer disruptions to your daily life. This infrastructure investment is directly connected to the job growth we're about to discuss next. Companies are choosing the suburbs with modern, reliable infrastructure for their new locations. A decade ago, living in the suburbs often meant commuting into Chicago for work, but in 2025, that's changed dramatically, and I'm super excited about how this is transforming suburban life. Major employers have established significant suburban campuses. The tech corridor along I-90 continues to grow. Healthcare systems have expanded throughout the suburbs, and with remote work becoming permanent for many industries, your job options are no longer tied to your location. In fact, some suburbs are seeing more job growth than Chicago proper. Places like Naperville, Schaumburg, and Oak Brook have thriving businesses districts with Fortune 500 companies. There's this incredible $185 million development happening in Schaumburg right now called the District of Viridian. They're taking about 30 acres of the old Motorola campus and transforming it into 65,000 square feet of retail in just the first phase, plus over 300 luxury apartments. Once finished, we're looking at 269,000 square feet of total retail and restaurant space. What this means for you is potentially short commutes, more job options closer to home, and a stronger local economy in your community. All of these factors contribute to the stability of the housing market in these areas. The final reality about Chicago suburbs that you need to know is just how diverse your options are. There is truly a suburb for every lifestyle and preference. Want a walkable, almost urban feel with historic architecture? Look at Oak Park or Evanston. Prefer new construction with all modern amenities? Check out parts of Naperville or Elmhurst. And looking for larger lots and a more rural feel while still being reasonably close to the city of Chicago? Consider Barrington or Long Grove. And the diversity extends to home styles too. From historic Victorians and new construction in Hinsdale to Frank Lloyd Wright homes in Oak Park to brand new construction in Plainfield, there's architectural variety at every price point. And the diversity is what makes the Chicago suburbs special. Unlike some metro areas in the US where the suburbs feel all the same, the Chicago area gives you distinct communities with their own character, history, and vibe. And honestly, this is where working with a local real estate agent who really knows these suburbs makes all the difference. Find the right match for your specific needs and wants can be a game changer for your quality of life. So there you have it, 10 realities of living in the Chicago suburbs in 2025. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this area, and that's because I've seen firsthand how these communities have transformed lives for the better. And if you're thinking about making a move to the Chicago suburbs, I'd love to help you find the perfect community that matches your lifestyle, budget, and needs. My team and I have helped so many families make the move here to the suburbs, and truthfully, we'd be honored to help you out too. All you have to do is email me, and you can find it right here on the screen here, the description, or the pinned comment down below. And hey, before you leave, if you want to know more about what it's like living in the Chicagoland area, I have another major video for you about all the development that's coming to Naperville that you need to watch. And thanks for watching this, and I will see you guys on the next video.